What's good, everybody? It's King here. Hope you guys are having a great day. I've been missed, so I uploaded. I've been doing some stuff, playing through games, getting some recording done, helping my boy Clips 101. Check out his channel. He's almost at 75 subscribers from the last time I checked. Get him to 80, 90, 100, beyond. Go support my boy with all that being said. I'm over here for the party with this man, VK Val. You're not gonna say what's up, but I'm recording this video. Technically next to him in the party. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content that I produce. I really want to say thank you for 1 subscribers. But like last time, all the way back, when I hit a milestone, this kid's being 50, I want to go ahead and do some stuff unique before. And I did a unique video in the case of me reading comments. This is going to be the part 2 to that video. So I got a lot more comments, upload a lot more videos, do a lot more Greater Case stuff. And I've done my nickel to go ahead and be taking in whatever criticisms, but also acknowledging that a lot of people on YouTube have showcased to be negative chromosomes and we don't deserve to even have access to YouTube, what the fuck shit that they speak, or where the case may be. Regardless though, if you're new here, subscribe, like, comment, share, where the case may be. Really helps with the channel. Like with this video, I'll be reading comments or where the case may be. I'll be addressing some things, acknowledging some things, answering some things, and talking about more in depth, bigger than what I possibly have thought about before videos. But regardless though, I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Again, I appreciate you guys all for the support. And I can't wait to go and pop in with a great porridge of different busting content. Because I got a lot of videos in the tank. Been in the lab. Been in the basement cooking up some shit. So, playing the games, where the case may be. I think it's going to be cool, especially for streaming. Where you're playing games, of all different forms. If you're playing games of PS5 or Xbox Series X. But regardless, besides all the yap, let's go and get into it. So, starting off with this, as you see, this is my community for YouTube Studio. I'm going to be reading comments I have not responded to because I don't want to, didn't have a reason to, or didn't see, in the general case sense. And I guess I'll explain that more, This might be a long video, might not, but, some people just going to go with the flow. So starting off, we have a comment, on my Why Millennia versus Metro Man is in close video by @Colton the Dude 918. I didn't realize people were asking this question. I thought it was obvious. Very vague. Again, didn't want to go and respond because, what I have to say, I'm obviously not going to respond to every comment. But then on my Radon vs. Millennia, who is stronger in Y video, @Shardar F. Once. Simple answer, Radon is stronger, but Millennia's strength is more impressive due to her size, disease, and lack of magical talent. Radon has size, a healthy body, and the talents of his mother to aid him. And that's in technical truth, but, there's a lot more in depth to that. But, that's It's a comment, don't have much to really say about that. Then this guy, this is a whole paragraph of knowledge, but pretty much pause the video if you want. But this guy on my debunking the arguments of Chris vs. Asura @ClassicManD, which if you Classic Man D still disagree with anything I said or even have seen that video, I'm down to go ahead and discuss such debate with you if you want. But this guy pretty much was just out here evaluating and or debunking the claim that just because, right, that the God of War games, in case of cosmology, is bound to a geographical scale, does not disperse and or downsize the actual greater evolved, cosmology and expand, basically trying to provide understanding just because Kratos got to the Norse pantheon through the general lane of, just traveling, does not disperse, like I said, or dissolve the credence that the Greek pantheon's greater emphasis of cosmology, concepts, time, form of worlds is very vast because Greece is way more vibrant and evolved in versatility account of, plane of existence beyond just Greece. Greece extends on multiple cuffs of South Europe and God of War, and it's very vast. And, for instance, Midgard, in the case for, the Norse pantheon, is obviously one planet and is defined and represented by Norway, aka Scandinavia. But Midgard is a universe. We know that Greek pantheon, Greek's universe is different from Midgard's universe. Just because it's defined by, geographical scale does not mean it's not way bigger and vast and different. And at the end of the day, technically, just because geographical scale doesn't mean that with short-sightedness, because it would be a contradiction. Because by that extent, Kratos can't even be planet level. And if you think that, I pray for you. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna stop. On the res, I don't get that statement. You know what I'm saying? But I, decree that just because this thing doesn't shine the fact that it's way more versatile than it's said to be, disperses the capability for it to be like no repetition. That should not deconstruct the value, to say the least. Again, I don't understand that statement because it's just a very weird statement, to say the least. But besides that, next commenter at Belano Hole. I don't even know what the hell his name's supposed to be. These obviously, the colon slight names of a person's actual name in this case, so, I wouldn't actually know. But still, put good video from my Wildland vs. Crane Doesn't Close video. Go check that out. Goes for another comment. Just some shawty with an anime profile picture saying meow. Then on my Assassin's Creed tier list video, this guy at J. Elk. Odyssey is a great game. Definitely A tier. No. The nerd dude at Dame Fame 8921. AC Odyssey is a dope ass game. You're smoking something. At Yo Daddy Horsey 1220, bro. Get the case of actually reading these things. That's the most weirdest thing, bro. Like the slate for possibly having these names is off of weird names in general, but it's a statement of that even being the case of like a loud name on YouTube. It's kind of funny to me. I'm not even saying like it's a bad thing. It's just kind of funny. AC1 and Revelation should be in A, and Mirage should be in B. All right, well, you didn't even start forming with parentheses, and you put parentheses in between both of these points. I can kind of see his point about AC1 Revelations. Is I personally don't truly agree, and I don't really see that even being case in comparison to the A-tier games, especially because they do have problems that pull them back, not even in a bad sense. But Mirage, I absolutely disagree. I think Mirage is peak epitome of mid, and that's me being, generous. Like, it's not even that it's a bad game. It's just Mirage doesn't do anything unique. Like, it's better than games that we got, but it doesn't matter. Same thing with AC Shadows, from what I heard. Then you have at Clips 101 YouTube, talking about yuppers, about one of these videos I was talking about, in this case of Thor versus the Tarnished, my rematch video, him simping for Apollyon, then just putting E with my why Thor versus Virgil is kind of close video, which some people have questioned if I still stand on. I think Virgil wipes the floor with Thor now, you know what I'm saying, after a bunch of cases of time, research and other cases shit, but even though, it's like just a what-off video that was of my, at the time, perception of shit. I think, if it's equal, if we cut around all the disadvantages Thor has, I think it'll be a cool fight. And I would love to see their dialogue, but, Virgil obviously beats Thor. It's, not even close. I definitely don't agree with the statement that I'm probably going to see when I get a chance. But, speaking of Thor, why the Tarnished versus Thor is not a debate video, we have a comment by at Comedy Gold 6249. Tarnished could use Scarlet Rot or Black Flames if it is in the game. I think he can make the damage on Thor's stack over multiple tries. I disagree with that because everything's shown in the video, but reasonable opinion, I guess. Then with this being said, man was asking for a little bit more support, and then you have Clips 101 being racist, trick side though, and then when I finally quote-unquote uploaded something greater, with this being said, this man says, look who finally decided to show up. Then on my How Would the Locust Horde / Swarm Fare in the Lands Between video, which I might want to remake, I don't know. This man, Arrow_Mortis, put, honestly, forgot about this discussion, but I enjoyed every bit of it myself. Then we have a guy talking about promote social media, which I kind of have, but I don't really care to. Another dude does the same thing, same stuff. He's talking about Astro Rules, nothing here. So did Brazil, saying he's from Brazil. Some way back in the past videos. But time to go to comments that I responded to, which is the greater run of things. So we have this weirdo named at Kingsley Slade, a bunch of bullshit, talking about a 1 minute and 53 seconds. Why would you even put years? See, this is already making me get devolved of, fucking brain cells. I mean, first of all, this man doesn't even type with good literacy or coherentness, but we're not even going to get on that, right? But besides, being diminished and devolving of brain cells, because I'm pretty sure that's a normal form of saying, not like dissolve, right, where it's obviously, clearing of something, but obviously with devolving and unevolving is backstepping with actual credit neurons here. But joke aside though, I think you're a brain dead no more, and you really not doing jack shit for the team. I mean, I don't see how. Like, I don't know what he wanted me to do in comparison there. And I tried my best. And at the end of the day, it was a team diff, I feel like, as a whole. Not just me, but I'm not even going to talk about that. I can't believe you bought a skin and play so bad. Holy shit, you literally have Gamma Squid team up and you couldn't kill Spider. It's honestly crazy. I'm about to report your ass for throwing. First of all, buying a skin does not show skill. 2, I bought the skin because I like it. 3, a nigga can't just kill Spider-Man just because I have something that counters him. You can counter somebody by default, doesn't mean you can best them. That's why good Winstons in Overwatch counter Reaper, even though Reaper counters him. Okay? There's also the fact that Hulk, the tank, did not help me enough to actually secure space. Every time I got somewhere, did something else, he would die, everyone else would follow through, and I couldn't do enough. It's also the fact that at the end of the day, it doesn't change the point. And also, skill has nothing to do with it. Also, you can't report somebody for being bad at the game. Like, you can try to, you can go out your way to do it, but it's just a dumbass statement. So I don't even know where this guy's coming from with that. And then this man's just yapping here with the most dumbass statements ever. And I'm just going to read what I have to say. You sound so ignorant, it's hilarious. I can't track the Spider-Man like I have Aim Boy. You so I didn't have Hulk either. And even if I did, it wasn't about that. You sound stupid and shouldn't be talking. You're absolutely disgrace to the platform with your grammar and stupidity. I threw a squid at the last second to stall, but you don't have eyes. Being quote-unquote bad, end quote, is a reportable offense, you nubbit. You should go to school and learn how to get comprehension, game tech, and also literacy. You also acting like people weren't being toxic with how they speak, moving conversation, and or simply by their actions. These are people that either don't have brain cells, they're no different, have no game awareness, or awareness in general. So stop talking shit is probably what will be better. And that's just preset reading. But I really meant, stop shit talking, because I don't like cursing in the comment section, because it might take down my comment. And some people from YouTube might get on the YouTuber for cursing in the comment section. So I usually don't do that. But still, regardless, the man just talking out his neck. And I don't want anybody to attack the person because you can't even see this man's comment, because he breaks all the mixed bag, policies of YouTube within the comment section, aka like what the template stamp is, like what the creative criteria is. But I'm just saying, this man is calling somebody trash when it has nothing to do with the video and or change it, and this guy's just a delusional fuck nigga that has no actual understanding and grounds to see that just because someone is quote unquote bad, which I'm not acting like I'm the best, but Namor is my third to second main on DPS, and trying to rule out the capability for me to be some possible good with just me not playing the best there. I have multiple, I feel like, showcases on the channel, Twitch, in regards to my actual, statistical stats that shine that I can't actually deliver when I'm playing Namor. Is just I'm getting downsized potential or space. It doesn't matter. Plus, it's like the whole Torbjorn thing. I might have turrets or something that kind of does a lot of work for me, but skill is still needed. That's why I feel like Namor still has some gravity of skill to him. And even though I don't like him, and I do think there's an argument that he's not skilled, unlike with Moon Knight, where you can basically just throw something and get most of your damage, he still does take skill. He does take aim, he does take position, and he does take some presence of actual brain matter. But this dumbass with the most edgy ass name, you look fat as shit in your profile picture. You don't got no reason to be talking, to be honest. But it is what it is. Moving on, we got the case of little jokes between my man Clips 101. Referencing him getting doomsdayed within this comment. When you're of age, this is going to be your fate. Crazy ass statement. This man typed "that's crazy" 3 times. I don't know if that's a glitch, but that is insane. Then his comment with mine, more cycle war, more for rivals toxicity. These people's logic is in a dustbin. 619, what is even happening? And then my reply is obviously, talking about me making fun of him, making fun of me, possibly sounding quote unquote dumb, end quote, in his response when he can't even form an actual sense. In his response, I think I meant possibly sentence, and it didn't go through, because technically that's not wrong, because it could just be preset typing and or reading, because in the statement, me saying what he can't even form an actual sense in his response, not even make coherent sense, so that's bad in my performance, but it wouldn't change anything, right? I don't think he had one. It's just annoying because you can't win the debate in that situation, man, because of the fact you were outnumbered. Getting jumped through the mic at 3 something in the morning is something I never thought would happen. It's more rivals that should be an average Tuesday. Then me talking about my title, which for y'all who don't know what title means. Title basically means a feeling that cannot actually be quantified through the English language. Basically saying that my YouTube channel is something that gives me purpose, never possibly be, defined by words, pretty much. But he said congrats, which I really appreciate, and I really like the montage. I think it's a great showcase in what I've done. Then on my Mortal Kombat tier list video, someone put Cetron is hot. I mean, I know it's a joke. Cetron, he's kind of bad though. And then you have a guy saying nice video. Then me shouting out my man Clips 101. Said thank you. And then talking how Malekith is an easy boss. And telling me congrats on 100, brother. With my No More Submariner montage. And then this guy at the call saying about people's names, right? Is obviously, again, with the ads being the sidebar to other name for this shit, it's like the affiliation thing with YouTube. But since I understand, it's like, why would you put hypothetically your real name or some random like insinuation of your real name on your stuff? Like, I think that's kind of stupid. Unless like you're perfectly okay with that, right? I think it's a little bit weird because obviously by that, protest, you know what I'm saying? Then that's fine. But like, if you don't want to possibly be greater form shown as something, I feel like at that point you need to change your name or change the case of your at, right? Like, no offense, and again, it's not to be a pen attack on any of these people. It's just, account for who, obviously is here. I just think at some occasion that's a little bit stupid to have basically half side of your government there if that is supposed to be in some reference. But again, obviously you're okay with that, go ahead. Just again, kind of that's a little bit stupid on my own front. But regardless, like I was saying, I had to go 4 minutes in, the video hasn't started, and then I commented, which technically the video does start. It's just start on a tier list, and the video is 3 hours long. So I don't know what you want to say, but me talking about in the technical 4 minutes where it does start is technically 4 minutes in. With 4 minutes and 21 seconds is when the video quote unquote starts, end quote. So I don't know where your comment comes from when you say quote unquote 4 minutes in the video started. And then another person saying, this is the funniest shit I've seen. I was about to hate, then you shouted me out. Thanks, brother. Smooth brain ad comment. Man thinking I'm out here praying on his downfall. I mean, normally, yeah, heart shattered. Grow up. Mean as hell. Really. And like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes nigga do be on the yappisons, but I just want to say with this thing, like, I don't even get that. And also, like, preset reading, technically, they talk of like 4 minutes into the video started. It's crazy. Do you say that? I feel like a lot of people don't actually watch the video like do, and I'm not expecting everybody to watch these long ad videos I do. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a majority of people did not watch the entire 4 hours of my, every superhero movie and TV show ranked video, but still. Next, we have some constructive criticism with the case of my Why John Wick versus Connor Kenway is kind of interesting video. I think these videos have so much potential. One thing I recommend to help is a better mic. May make the videos more engaging, but keep up the good work. I don't know if this mic is better in the sense of quality. This mic I use most time when it comes out to the recording my Chromebook. In the case of other greater dope videos, but still. But then another person talking about John has this in the bag. I'm sorry, he's no common fodder shooter with Stormtrooper aim. Then my Far Cry 3 video. Who is the guy in the beanie? Thought he was Riley, but you went to look for him. Then I thought it was Keith, but he's with Riley in the bathroom. So who is this random? Then I go about full explanation of who that person is. The message being a film guy, so cameraman, the vlogger. Then a guy at CM9_exorcist. Weird ass name, no offense. I don't understand what you mean by the title. Quote unquote him, end quote, is a slang that means you're that dude or you do big things. Meaning that Jason was already doing cool stuff before the game. How do you get this mission? explain this stuff here, what is being said, and I'll read it out loud again just in case anybody wants to know how I actually got those flashback missions. Go to the cave of the doctor, and with your friend's dialogue or whatever done, go to your left from the campfire, head in the direction of it straight, or go more right, and you'll see a sign with a bunch of plants and items saying, quote unquote, eat me, end quote. Then you can keep doing this for these 3 consecutive missions, pre-seconds arena. But it's just like I'd be expecting of how I would say it, right, to be something else, but natural typing to be something different and be fair, it was a minute ago, but it's like, so written. Besides, I got to touch down your process, like that, right? But when it comes down to the case of, this thing, that's how you would do it. I'm hoping that it's helped. If anybody wants a video, let me know. I hope I helped. If not, I can do a video just for your cause. I don't really like how this video just kind of blew up just from the title. Far Cry 3 proved Jason was him before it. Because, man, it's prone to do to make, I feel like, solid to even banger lesson videos. As a man with enhancement and pump precisely, I'd be touched to do. I just think it's very clean, that a man has been able to just be himself and thoroughly pull in people of interest. And again, I really support, the idea of person doing their thing regardless of the stakes, limitations, or things against them, to make it your way. Obviously, improve, grow, advance, expand. But I really rock with that. So if anyone else is, going for the same means of grind that I guess me or Clips 101 is, shout yourself out in the comment section, do your thing, and never give up, stuff like that. But yeah, at Uncle Dante, people downplaying Kratos' gameplay and ignore the feats, but it's true. I'm dead. I wasn't expecting that. I'm not gonna ask what this person's talking about, but still. Yap session. I was playing Ultra Kill during the recorded session. We should do this more. It was fun. Plan to do another case of project video thing that I had my man Visa Valid in mind for. So we'll see about that. But still, amazing vid. This person at Kingsley after you asked talking about, and this entire comment section, which you can pause or fast forward for the case of my entire talk of it in a greater form. But I'm gonna just kind of slowly calm down with this, and rewind if you need to go ahead and peek it. But pretty much it's just him disagreeing with my entire core feel of the video. And even though some things, I don't entirely agree on from the case of my own comment or his comment, I feel like a lot of the core sayings means that I'm saying what I'm saying for is reasonable, especially when you consider equal speed, capabilities, and other hacks of that. I'm going to read briefly what I said. I'm not going to read the entirety. I'll read this and I'll just slowly scroll. But I just want to say to this guy or anyone that ever disagrees with any of the videos that I do, aka power scaling, opinions of different form, or any form of conversationless type of conversation, RP King 3124 is my Discord. You can catch me on Xbox, you can catch me on PSN, or other possible things, depending on how we can discuss it. If you really want to debate, that's where you can find me, right? The best Discord, that's the most easy, that's the most reliable, and I think that's the easiest for everybody if you really devote your time to it. If you disagree with anything that I say, that is the place where you can find me, and we can have a cohesive, calm, cool busting, debate, where the case may be. And this is to attack anybody, this isn't to put nobody down, because everybody's going to be willing to go out their way to go and have a big form of debate. But I'm just saying, don't constantly be out here talking like I'm wrong, when you guys a lot of time cannot actually present a cohesive way to debate and play hide and seek in the comment section and not actually want to emphasize their points. You know what I'm saying? So please don't be one of them people. If you just simply disagree, you don't want a bigger talk about it, perfectly fine. But just if you really want to go ahead and have a conversation with me, I promise you I'm very willing to understand why you believe what you believe and try to come to a better case of understanding. Again, if you disagree with anything that I talk about this video before or in the future, RP King 3124 at Discord is going to be the best place to go and do that. And again, I'm going to go and have a cohesive, cool, whatever case conversation, to possibly understand more about your perspective and full fling of whatever possibly to come. I'm again willing to grasp that in the best sense. Again, it just feels I feel like disjointed and kind of like intelligence to try to strike on the means of a person's point and purpose. And when they come at you with reasonable value for disagreement, you either are silent Don't comment back with actual sense or deliberately be playing hide and seek and do this and do this in third form. To me, no offense, it feels begrudging pussy activity, but I'm just saying, no offense to this guy or anyone else. I'm just saying I would really respect it and or appreciate it if you actually wanted to actually, debate / have a conversation to hit me up there. But I'll just read the first point. Okay, just to say it before, no offense, go all surgeons, send on your comment. If you want to debate me, parentheses, because it will be the only place I will usually debate, parentheses, my Discord is rpking324, and there are other ways to debate if you want to debate, but I ain't arguing over the comment section because of the time. And no, this is just me breaking down why I disagree. It's not the same as arguing in a critical, intelligent, or cohesive way like a debate. The rest of it is just, me acknowledging I think a lot of them could have agreed to his opinion and or points are wrong. You're speaking of the term and the power, especially the context, situation, the rules given, but it is what it is. So one, you fucking crazy making this a competition, slow brain nigga. Oh shit, never mind, didn't show more. How's it a competition when you're never seen as a competitor? It's funny, that's comment by me. I'm not gonna lie, W troll. I'm surprised he didn't even comment about that. Imagine Joker Music actually did play with that. That's funny. You were never seen as a competitor. In my After Samurai video, first love the series. It was fun having this discussion. Thanks for bringing me on. Love you, thanks. A nice vid to watch while eating. Yo, why is everyone hating? You people ask for new YouTubers to watch, but when someone starts to make videos, you insult them and make them not want to keep posting. Keep up the good work, Godsking. Now, for the record, I didn't see a bunch of people hating. I only saw 2 people talking about, it's not really needed to make this video. It's a waste of time. And to be fair, from an obvious perspective, it's sensible to see why Melania could beat Metro Man, but people do downplay Melania and people do downplay Metro Man. So I made the video to, in a way, corresponding with the want to make a versus battle, but to in some way educate. And I explained this in that video, but simply put, I made this to causality, creative mix value of upholding the standpoint that one character is a very reasonable, hale person, not to be underestimated, but also give proper education, evaluation of Metro Man, the credit for his power, and a little instance of character. So I basically want to make this video to show love and support on both sides of the likeness, but also obviously give a general critical case of, dive into the versus battle itself. But I appreciate this person at Echo 20101. Okay, whatever. But in this guy at McMuffinsy Great, Melania literally no concept of dips the verse. It's really not even required to make a long ad videos, not even proper English. Melania straight up scales to bare minimum galaxy level, considering she was able to go toe to toe with Fredan, who carried millions of stars. Okay, this is wrong for multiple reasons in a mixed regard. First of all, I just want to make this clear. I'm not actually trying to pen people in the bad for not saying something that starts with English, because I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to get on nobody entirely for spelling. I'm not going to act like I'm not, spelling wrong. I obviously, already acknowledge that I spelled something wrong. But it's more the fact that, I can't even comprehend that. It's not even like a mess up if, I mistype or a man set up wrong. It's just the idea that you went out your way to type this and then naturally consider a thing that I feel like would be easy to understand. So one thing, if I mistype this or, I go about this, and I'm not trying to act like I'm better than anybody, because in the day, no one's here is perfect. I'm just saying, it's like, it kind of look goofy to say something like that and then be entirely wrong. If you mess up how you type and you are wrong, you know what I'm saying? But not with bad intentions, it is what it is. And I'm not even trying to say it's entirely this person. Basically, in the end of the day, since it's like, it's not gonna change the value of the point or the substance. It's just in the credit of, if you're saying something and you spell something wrong and you are right or wrong, which is a mix in this plane, a mixed subjective, not entirely out of a particular objective point, then it's different. I'm just saying again, at the end of the day, in the end, it's just the fact that you said this is wrong about the scale and then wrong about the amount of videos. Like, this is not a normal viewer. I'm taking he's only seen this video, or at least acknowledge the fact that, the video is long to possibly see it. So that's really it, okay? The first thing is that would downform the actual scaling chain that makes Radon powerful and Melania, because just carrying millions of stars and actually quantify galaxy level, if anything, depending on mixed assertion of that, would actually be pretty small. What makes him actually be to the quantification of a more powerful than ever person is all the hail claim capabilities and what the actual greater atmosphere of stars, in case of that, is the fact that Radon defeated Astel, the Star Scourge beast, has claim of being able to conquer multiple aspects of the greater space that is known to us, that gives some mixed quantification of that solar stand. The fact that a solar system and other quantifications of a greater aspect of the world of Elden Ring on that scientific scale protrudes that to us, the viewer, through gameplay and other aspects of that. Talked about in item descriptions, clothing, weapons, accounting for him, and Elden Ring strategy guide and book, all that shit gives greater hell to that. So he's not just galaxy level. In truth, Radon is multi-solar system plus at a consistent level. Obviously, I think Radon and Melania are way more, powerful than that, and even he considered that, which is at, the bare minimum. But that's a wrong understanding of it. But my comment to actually, talk about that was saying, you're telling me that 21 minutes is, quote unquote, long ad videos, unquote, when it's only one. And don't get it twisted, I do have long videos like this example, but the guy here saying waste of your time, is confused about what that means. Then, got some people talking about my video of me being mad about this dumb mad boss fight. Oh, tell me about it. This and the Scorpion fight are the worst. I find a Nemesis whip to be the best for this fight. I played this part on hard mode and it took me 4 hours just to beat this. I was so angry I raged Sparta in real life. Man saw circle over his TV, lol. Even all the Greek gods together aren't as strong as this. This guy at Puzzle, not even gonna say much more. Bro, I just played this yesterday because I missed playing it and was on hard diff. I hate those two guys with long weapon. Like the Spear to Guano, I forgot what they were called. I feel like I had it in mind. It's like a mix of like Griffin's weapon from For Honor. They make it hard to kill the Cerberus, and their damage is very high. It's so annoying. It took me 6 times, by the way, to finish this area. I brought my controller on this. On chaos difficulty. Beat it eventually, but fuck me, it's hard and cheap as fuck. True, bro. So annoying, especially those exploding dogs. The damage is so high, it kills you immediately when you can't move or dodge. Facts. I'm talking about my birthday. Happy birthday, Knob Chief. Thank you, my fellow Tarnish, for 3 feet 6. Hope you are cursed to fight the fire drive for the rest of your days. Thank you. And then it comes down to my ranking in the Invincible Universe. I'm the strongest terrorist, which, in case anybody's wondering, I don't entirely agree with entirely. I do understand a lot of the reasons why I did what I did, and this I still stand with the idealization that Spawn, regardless if you don't know how powerful he actually is, just from acknowledging his existence and kind of in a joking way, should be the highest bar for events to possibly, get to. But, I understand this, point. Something I wanted to mention, the Invincible Spawn is very clearly a different variant of Spawn than the main one. He should not be this high on the list if we're just covering Invincible canon. Let's see, otherwise, sure. Okay, I'm not going to tell you about this guy trying to preach about God in the mix of this. If that's the case, sure, but there's no statement that says that outright. So I put Spawn in there as a more reference point for the fact that base Spawn is beyond these dudes' comprehension. I don't think there would ever really be one, especially given the cases for other characters who have their own continuity, like Tech Jacket, which I did not know. Plus, since it was Invincible who took out Spawn the 2 times, it was implied, parentheses, and even more so without use of any holy weapons or magic, parentheses, it's when easy to come to the conclusion that this is the version of Spawn. Well, I mean, you don't need holy weapons and things like that to defeat Spawn. That's the thing, especially if we're talking about, it's in the case of the original mythos and comics, right? I mean, to kill him is different, but I mean, again, you just reference the matter for defeating, right? And there's a, Invincible variant that claimed to go about killing, Spawn. And I do think there is a capability to affect Spawn without holy weapons. We're talking about crossing the verses, and that's just usually what he's prone to be defeated by. But it doesn't really change anything, to be honest. It's just no to okay. I didn't say it was the same spawn though. I also didn't know Tech Jacket was from a different thing. I know that the spawn that fought the Viltrum mark is different. I say that in the vid, but spawn in general should be there. I don't know if you watched the vid fully, but I explained that. Again, my only issue with Spawn being there, if we're specifically counting Invincible continuity overseas, is that he doesn't have anything his mainline counterpart does, if anything at all. But here's the thing: it's like, yeah, we're accounting for the Invincible verse, but Spawn did show up, and that goes for Spider-Man as well. And it's like that Spider-Man, we don't know exactly how canon that is. I do know because of mixed variety of the versions that there is a version of Spider-Man, aka Peter, that has met Invincible, aka Mark Grayson. But even then, there's countless versions of Spider-Man. That version of Spider-Man is not consistent, I feel like, enough to really quantify where you should be. And I'm just saying where I feel like Spider-Man to a decent, consistent level of what type of inspiration and or parody of Spider-Man that is, which to me was at a point in time Ultimate Spider-Man, which in this case was the Spider-Man, line of like stories that was going at the time. So that being the more popular mainline Spider-Man is the reason why I put him there. By that same decree, Spider-Man should be possibly higher, lower, you never know, because it's Invincible's Spider-Man. It's not Peter Parker of 616, the Marvel Universe, to mix whatever canon. It's not the Ultimate version, I'm just saying, like, it's like, I don't know. It's just like, there's so much bigger things to that than that. And I'm not saying this guy's wrong to say what he's saying. That's why I didn't even, respond anymore. It's just like I don't really get the reason for argument when it's not derived off of that, to say the least. But still. And this guy talking about my, superhero material list. Which is not, obviously mainline superheroes, but, ranking every superhero movie set a show from worst to best. Infinity War at peak is all I need to see. 100 go, which I predict. Infinity War, I do think is the best case of, superhero movie and MCU movie, with it being said. And if you haven't watched this video, I think it's a reasonable cool watch. I'm sorry for the static and crackling later on. It didn't happen because recording too long or me bugging my mixed mic and computer at the same time. And I think it's the fact that I did something in the mix that had that happen. That has not happened since. So I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But yeah, ranking every superhero movie set show video was very cool to record in a moment, especially when this bitch ass nigga Vowed, if he's even here, hello, face out, came in the mix. But still, moving onward though, with the Invincible tier list video, guy at Diego Bromfield. Hey, do you also do anime related stuff or even more comic book content? And I answered yes and no. I have plans of on comic book and anime stuff, but never get to do them, or they are not my main demographics watch. But I do have a decent run of content on the channel involving comic book stuff, games, reviews, and the same for anime. This guy who disagrees with my God of War universe movie is strongest tier list, right? Which, as you see, parentheses knowledge, because I don't agree with a great majority of it, and possibly because I hit a milestone. A great deal of time has happened to where I've reconsiderated a lot of what I've done. I will probably make a new video for it, especially with my public case of dislike for a guy named Kratos, or that guy named Kratos. I'm not gonna get too much into that. What I'm saying? Obviously, I made a video entirely kind of overviewing that. But I'm just saying, even if I don't agree with the person, I don't like some different parts of the community that talk about this stuff, I do agree that I was wrong in a great deal of my stuff, even though for a core grader is more ignorance. But I can't, again, in some sense, acknowledge and be aware that I was definitely ignorant on some of my things. But there are, depending on what we're talking about, some things in my tier list that I still stand with. But like, to give an example, I don't think Freyr is that high. I don't think this and this character should be over this. I think some of the Norse Pantheon should be a little bit lower. Not too low, but not too high. And there is the fact that I still think some characters are over this and this person when we consider the greater emphasis of lore and scaling talked about before. But there you go there with all that being said. But yeah, so this guy says so many wrong things. LOL. For example, Kratos with the sword is far less stronger comparing to when he was the magic. This is weird to tell you his name. And like, he's wrong, but it's weird from like a preset, reading thing. I feel like when you're actually trying to actually, very to explain your point, because when I don't even see that, and two, like, it depends on which version, and he'd even actually account for that. And this guy is not hitting me up, so I will never really know for great emphasis. And like, I probably mixed bag disagree with that. It's just, again, actually better, configuring your point to properly explain and elaborate on. That's why Ares tried another strategy than Bulletproof Force. Will it fight him? Guy would have destroyed the Colossus easy. She's much bigger and stronger. I kind of half agree with that, but it's the fact that the Colossus of Rhodes, because of the power and because this is why I believe he would beat him. But also, it's like, you could be bigger than somebody, don't mean that you would beat him. Like, no one says that about Kratos, so I mean, I don't get why you would say that about the Colossus. I do agree that guy will probably beat him if we go by the fact that they are a whole different regiment of race. But again, I don't entirely agree with that by this record of statement. But it is what it is. Hercules would also get annihilated by much people you ranked much lower too, and so much more. I don't agree with that, as shown in this comment. A lot of what I put in this tier list I don't stand on, but I don't agree with the two other takes. I believe Hercules is much more stronger than a lot of what you said, as he has great scaling to God of War 3 Kratos, and by that others. I don't remember such have proof showing that Ares couldn't beat him normally, as Ares was beating him even after the battlefield removal. So yeah, on the other stuff I don't agree with, but depending on what you're talking about, I full hard disagree. If you wish to debate, let's have a conversation about it. My Discord is RPK314. Then you have the fam dude. I appreciate it's what I thought I was saying at first, but man, just saying, appreciate you taking the time to make a tier list, but there are so many things wrong with this tier list. Would you be willing to discuss in my Discord server through voice chat? I never thought I would see the man, the myth, the legend himself here, but one, thank you. Two, yes, and I'd love to discuss it with you if you would be down to talk about it, but I hope with it in mind that this is my opinion. I obviously have my reasons for it. My Discord is RPK024. I don't like how we started on a cool civil note, but it's unfortunate when you meet people that you have respect for, regardless of the case, that sometimes they can show to be a very just unlikable, phony, bum activity talk. Because, man, it's kind of like saddening, but it's also kind of like realization feeling with the record that a lot of niggas that you have respect for or you think are cool are not really cool when you meet them. I don't want to be that guy, but this term size saying that, don't always meet your heroes does hold some form of truth. In regards to, precept being with the Zerger shit, what I'm saying? I'm talking about. I'm glad I'm actually being able to, do this shit and be concrete and cool in the case for this shit, especially after everything I've been through as a man, has been through hell, playing some different games, because I'm telling you, man, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is putting a nigga for the ringer. But besides that, it is what it is. Then this guy at Zombie Chicken-X, you jump scared the fuck out of me at 24 minutes. It's crazy. Then for Sparta 3195, which I've seen this man, he's a kind of like mixed known person, the community watchers, God of War, saying, I think Thor was definitely trying to kill Kratos in the last fight. He was going all out. He says to himself, this time I'm allowed to kill you, which I don't think I ever denied. I think it's a mixed confusion, or maybe how I said it. I'll be basically saying, if you think that Kratos and Thor were going full out and they were both trying to in some way harm each other to the greatest form, which I do believe, such because Kratos, even if he wasn't trying to kill him, doesn't mean he wasn't giving him the greatest sense of, fade possible. And I feel like that's, deliberately and verbatim shown. But yeah, that's on my Why Hates for Store is Not Fair video. That last kick was personal indeed. Then this guy at Just Yuri 23, Shisha thought Kratos would win without losing a health. And the Valkyrie damage, just one shot. Kratos was an amazing fight between the Ghost Spot and the Valkyrie. Ares is the God of War, not Hades. I never said that. I said the God of War version of Hades, or I maybe said in short, God of War Hades. I never actually said that Hades was the God of War. The same thing goes for Thor as well. No one said he was. I said we were using the God of War versions, and it's Ares. There's been put Iris. What is being said. Then the next person. Lore-wise, the Olympians were massively nerfed so Kratos can have a fighting chance. We see only one time in the beginning of God of War 3, Zeus being mythologically accurate, blasting with a thunderbolt. It's a lightning bolt, but still. Titans and Kratos like flies from Olympus, and he never does it again for game mechanic reasons. Well, technically, he does, just not as big for gameplay reasons. Same with Hades, where, this is not even the right word. It was his iconic helmet of invisibility that makes him unseen even from the eyes of the immortals. You could say he arguably does actually use it if we consider that in the underworld. He literally blends in with the darkness, but, adaptations. He could have killed Kratos very easily, and let's not talk about the Poseidon fiasco. Mixed thing. I mean, I don't entirely agree with this whole comment, but I can understand the perspective that there could have been better showcasing, I guess, of mythology in it, because I do think there's a lot of mythological, accuracies and inaccuracies that could have been better used or evaluated or deepered on an aspect of creation. But still, as I put, adaptations, my friend, adaptations. Is this mobile? No PS5. Nerd. Thanks, 30 or more, and you or what? It's funny. Bro was locked the fuck in, which is indeed true for this being said. What's your second strong? Seem weird to make sure this. Oh. Some water one time. Oh. Alright. The whole live stream reading of this shit. Awesome. Bro was locked the fuck in. His understatement for being night 6 of, what is this, 5-1? Is, dog, that shit is one of the most infuriating and at the same time annoying shit ever known to man, as being said. People be peopling on my why do people have horns for mics? Stereotypical British dad response. Man had to clap his cheeks. This I don't agree with. And this whole comment, I obviously kind of case of debate and disagreement with. You can go ahead and pause the video, rewind, fast forward, agree or see a point. But like a lot of people in the comment section, me included, I entirely disagree with, and there's supposed to be more to be talked about. But even with this stuff being canon, that is true. It's just that you're using it in the wrong context. You're not actually going about getting greater emphasis and grace of knowledge to see how the entire verse conforms to the aspect of that the world is so large in scope that all these mythologies, pantheons, folklore, legend, whatever case of thing, all exist and paraphrase and parody to each other, but are not based on a indefault, set diameter or parameter of the world. They're a lot more expanded and evolved. The cosmology is very complicated and diverse. And this person at unknown, I feel like does not actually understand that. But it is what it is. At irrelevant that, the only argument I hate is the quote he can die from this and quote that's gameplay mechanics, lower accurate Kratos without gameplay 1 to 10 shots most enemies. Facts. Was this man high on my crazy teammates from receiving my rivals toxicity? Far Cry 4 should be in banger or peak in my opinion. I respectfully disagree, which is true. I don't think it's that worthy of that. And this guy, naughty, JK, this is funny. How not to argue more rivals, top 10 most sus things close to one-on-one has ever said right here. It's funny. Name for putting one AC in S tier drove me insane. Seeing multiple in S tier, only one can be the best, which I agree with. Thank you for a good year of peak content, brother. Appreciate it. I have one more vid planned until I have the hiatus, and thank you so much for the shout out. Means the world, brother. Bro was talking about all the above. He went from Liu Lang, this nigga didn't even spell Liu Kang right, to Dark Souls, to Frieza. They didn't even spell Frieza right either. It's a vid of the best vids. As AC games go, for Odyssey and Valhalla, they aren't AC games. They should have been their own. As for the game, I agree Valhalla is mid, but bro, I can't agree with your take on Odyssey. That's a great game. Fair, but I would love for why, because I see no redeeming qualities in that game from character, story, even the world, because I don't think Greece is as interesting as Egypt, and also combat is cool, but I feel no true actual purpose to try or grow in skill. I haven't yet played Origins, but I've heard the story is one of the best. I do know that. Sorry, you said that. Let's see something else. Preset reading, L reader timing. To reread, I do know what you mean. I think you're into the Greek culture. It's a Greek game. So, but other than that, I'll see to Black Flag are my favorites. I don't think Valhalla, Origins, Odyssey should be classified as AC games. Well, I disagree because AC Origins is big on an AC game. A great deal of it is not technically an AC game, but it's the fact that it builds up and it is a good game in its own right, and everything involved in the game. I mean, it's about assassins. I mean, AC Odyssey and Valhalla don't have that. Valhalla mentions them they're technically there, but they hold no real substance matter. They hold no point is the big problem. But again, we're not going to get into that and keep reading, I'm into Greek history. I just don't think, besides the look, culture of things and a little Greek myth, does anything too much. But I will disagree with the fact that ACO shouldn't be considered an AC game. It has one of the best stories. It's the origins of the assassins. The world, culture, myth, and other stuff is way more better used than the others. It has great historical use of those things, and the foundation of a lot of aspects of what makes AC so good is represented in such a profound way. You should play it for sure. Number facts I feel like there. Another guy has a pro picture of Kratos at the mother for 9903. AC Brotherhood is the best, in my opinion. Valhalla is my favorite. How is it not good? You either don't care for Assassin's Creed or are trolling on what this was a joke, or people can have different opinions on a silly video game. Or you can miss a thing called a joke or sarcasm, but you can have an opinion. No one said you can't, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good one. Talking like a Redditor while getting pressed over Assassin's Creed is peak anti-woman behavior, ashallah. This is a dumbass statement, and no one got pressed over that because this was a joke. So actually, it's like sarcastic insult, so I don't get that. It doesn't even make sense. It's even an argument. This guy deleted this comment, by the way, which is like another form of just kind of like pitifulness there. But we're not going to talk about that. Argument to even what I said, and I could say that as peak bum behavior, as well the fact that I just say you can have an opinion. God, I wonder if people like you in this kind of sections actually read what you disagree or watch the video on. Yeah, this guy puts Vikings Valhalla's go to dude, quit the cope. Yeah, that's definitely it's a troll. I remember. Thank you, brother. Better be out here like Rocket Raccoon in the classes. Then this guy gives me real genuine piece of, sort of criticism. It seems like you put a lot of thought into your rankings, but the way you explain them is kind of hard to understand at times. I think you sometimes use a lot of words when fewer would be clear. There's reasonable points that makes you agree. Understand what there are subtitles and things that can help if you don't understand what I'm saying, which is also another point. Dude, this is awesome. Genuinely didn't know that when Pantheon was this big. Permanently, he asks about the production. I pretty much explained it in his be said. Pretty much, there's no point of driving a car with a driver with no energy left to drive it. And unfortunately, man, that's how I feel. Maybe things might change, but at least for now, I'm done. Thanks for your support and dedication. Not 100. So that's a reasonable thing. Whereas Midra, and I explained, I had him in mind, but I couldn't say anything about him in the end because he's either too powerful or simply he's not scalable. That is mainly because he is only considered to be a threat gameplay-wise from what I've researched. I feel like Midra could be grouped with Frenzied Flame as a whole, which is an arguable point. It's just me personally, I don't really see that being very concrete and defined scaling, because even though Midra uses the power of Frenzied Flame, he is a Frenzied Flame incarnate, which is what the Frenzied Flame Lord of, the ending in this case, is in full incarnate. Like the Frenzied Flame Outer God case of concept is a whole new crack theme, case a whole new level of power, right? But in the sense that the Tarnish accompanies incarnate as like a host, like the one being host sense with Onaga with the case of Frenzied Flame, makes him pull a whole new level of heights in the record of destructive, chaotic carnage that could be obtained, while Midra uses a mini stance of it. And if he really was much more powerful, even though its gameplay could possibly not be as much, I don't think I'm ever going to do a re-ranking of my Elden Ring power splinters because I stand pretty strong on my entire ranking there, even though I can see arguably, some different debates and arguments. All I'm saying is that you could put Midra up there. It's just from what I see, I think it's more probable to say that he's very powerful, but isn't as powerful as others. Because I'm going to be honest, I could not see Midra being like Radagon or these other niggas, and how Spade, this nigga can really be in the pool of most crack shit, and I mean like generally sped in a joking way, or like even his actual speed to think about it, because I'm thinking like I show speed with the sped. But anyway, it's been talking about this is a shame that you're moving away from RPs, but from a very wise Minecraft character, nothing built last together. RPs involving For Honor, because a man will still do RPs, just start stalling man one, man's older and doing other things. I plan to get back involved in greater run of stuff with For Honor, and possibly will actually get on that. It's just not my mainline mindset for something right now, and that's how it is. I think I might set a day and a time, and I think I might build up something the next time I get onto For Honor, which I'm not gonna lie, might be possibly after this, depending on how I'm feeling, because I'm getting back into Doom and finishing up a movie when I get done with this, and obviously editing parts of this or uploading it. But that's just what it is. But that's all for my man going to kick ups 101. But this is a shame in a sense. Like, that's funny. Did you even upgrade your weapon or your scatter tree level because you were dealing no damage? Which is just not true. Not enough damage, but saying I deal no damage is not entirely true. I obviously did. I killed Dan, and my Black Blade was doing a lot of damage. I'm not trying to be rude when I ask this, but did you watch the short all the way? No, not all the way, but also didn't need to. I don't know. Your weapon does no damage if you look at the video, but anyway, it's not true. I mean, it's just not true. I mean, you would, because you can't say I do no damage. You would even watch the whole fight. Plus, does it really matter? Like, I won for a reason. I have I played at +9 and a grave sword at 25 plus. I feel like it should be enough. I mean, scatter tree design is a little bit just annoying. Not even like it's bad, but I feel like in the sense of try to pull all the non-stop case of like fucking Roadman Adventure scatter for the case of, the fucking scatter trees and all pull this shit is OD, and I feel like I got enough scatter trees. I did enough level design, enough grind, new game +4 to be where I'm at. Simply the DLC is just outlandish, my nigga. That's all I have to say. But it is what it is. It took bro long enough to about the Vulcan Amber versus Golden Hippopotamus. Then this comment on my Wild Mesmer vs Frieza is completely one side, which I disagree. I would like to maybe remake this vid if y'all want. Frieza has crazier feats, if I'm not mistaken, like World Buster feats. Not even a demigod to Elden Ring can claim that, as far as I can recall. Maybe Radon. Not necessarily wrong, but scaling to Radon over would get to that level. Which I feel like I possibly should have greater educated there, but, I agreed with his stuff all the way at the time, for the most part. So, yeah. Oh my god, if you really think some alien couldn't fight a god, oh, you're so funny, is what I thought he said. I appreciate reading. But, one, Mesmer is not a god, he's a demigod, which I made a joke about. I forgot to read the description where it said Mesmer was a god. I'm pretty sure it said son of Queen America and Radagon. Radagon isn't a god, but Frieza's still next. Demigod is still a god versus an alien. Not true. I mean, Astra exists, but, we're not going to get into that. Not true because of what I showed in the video, but Frieza is stronger than gods and Z, so what's the argument? That's a good argument when I like that. A demigod, not the same as the full-blown god, oh well. So it's still Elden Ring character versus DBZ character. Ain't no way you're making out clear rules to make this fair in a way. And watch the video if you like. Does that anyway matter? There are characters in DBZ that be multiple Elden Ring characters, and I state that in this video. Well, like the rules of the fight is based on consistency, logic, and facts. You thinking because he's a demigod and from Elden Ring is not an argument. If you wish to debate me, here's my Discord. Copium. Pull up this about how I'm not really trying to play the DLC, but I'd rather, make a research video about feat scaling and more to, definitely say, who would win now, Tarnish or Thor, right? No, root to the royal family, you're British, and most importantly, Constant Radon and Bell are scary. Now, this is an inside joke. I'm not going to say too much on it, but pretty much this man Jensen saw my brother's channel, who, infamously, if you're a longtime fan, know that, obviously because we family, we got similar looks and genetics, and we even sound a little bit similar, because it's how, straight down the pipe, me and him's, genes are, because we have the same mom and same father, we're just brothers, simply put. And this nigga was clowning my brother. He said my brother was built like a baconator, my nigga. That was the joke with the whole royal family thing. It's them yuppers. Then the only language he speaks, well, Echo Sloan one way too, but the Dwarf King has spoken. Me, my man says the Dwarf King is a fool face, so he say different. Sorry for the young with all this being said. The greater case of concrete I say on what that is this kind of funny statement saying that he is dorking because they're all short as shit, but like Andy from Toy Story. But then this is me out here uploading this random kind of promotion for the movie thing, and this man saying, does someone hold you at gunpoint and force you to upload this? And then this random no profile picture dude saying this is just like funny as shit, bro. this video to be uploaded onto his channel. Both of you are just a great example of how to be corny. Like, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. Or not even my last vid. We just looking out for your brother. Blink twice if you're in danger. That's like that because funny troll at the end of the day. But we get some more interesting comments. With honestly, the major thing 9% of Elden Ring casts would have problems with is the speed of the Dragon Ball Z characters. Things like instant transmission do sort of exist in setting, but they aren't nearly as fast as what a Saiyan with the right training can do. Now, the biggest question, how many runes is Goku worth? A lot of it was funny, and it is also true when we're talking about Godfrey versus Broly from Z in Pacific, but stuff. I don't know why, but I got mad 2012 vibes from this. I don't really know what to take from that, if that's good or bad, but I like 2012 videos, I guess, so I don't know what really to say from that. A more reasonable opponent for Godfrey would be Yujiro Hanuma. This is a spite match. Me personally, I don't think so. Spite-wise, I don't know how powerful Yujiro Hanuma is because I don't watch Baki. I don't even know who that nigga is, to be honest. How powerful even is Yujiro Hanuma? Because, well, I know Godfrey slams, but I don't know him to say is what I meant. One of Yujiro's better feats is stopping an earthquake with one hand. I don't know how that compares to bringing the heat of the Earth's core to the surface by slamming the ground, but it's a lot fairer than versus Broly. Bro's casual playing Pantera in the background. Who asked this? I saw it debated. Dad really thought Godfrey had a chance here. Oh well, but Mesmer definitely stomps Frieza versus non-golden, no question. Mesmer has no chance. Although I think Mesmer is definitely way cooler, but Frieza has destroyed entire planets with his finger. I don't know the power scaling of Mesmer, but like if he's considerably more powerful than Ronnie, who can create a uni-sized pocket dimension, then yeah, he should win. If we're talking Z, but even then, I don't know, could be instant good. And this guy at Gunther puts a whole comment trying to debunk my entire stance there and disevaluate it. And you can go ahead and read this entire thing if you want. It's not too long, so I could possibly read it, but this man just doesn't know the greater power scaling of Elden Ring, and I come here. I'm not gonna read it too much, you know what I'm saying, into it, as obviously been met since the entire thing, and that guy did as well, like others, delete his comment, which I feel like better put my point of a little bit of like pull back and pussy activity in the comment section, but we're not gonna talk about that. Where I drop some facts or respond, no response back, no nothing. And again, you don't have to go and respond. I'm just saying no. It would maybe be helpful for your case if you actually want to understand something or, educate me different. But it is what it is. But you can read this, and I have multiple proofs of this. And again, if you want to debate me on anything I'm saying, I have the proof, I have the scans, I have the mentions, I have the sources. I can go and put you on game. You actually thought he stood a chance against a guy who destroyed a galaxy? Well, he's going to destroy a galaxy, but, so that's the link for the video. Y'all should watch this. Was the, Mesmer vs. Frieza video. Who the fuck is debating this, bro? I can fly, like, we should do a rematch of this sometime. No, burn. Haven't said this yet, but it's actually fucking amazing that you're making your own soundtrack. Requires next level creative thinking, very commendable. Maybe one day, maybe one video, because I don't even think that would be bad. I don't want to get like hyper copyright, even though it is my music. Obviously, there's some beats in the form of material that is still in the value of copyright. And I don't just make a whole big ass video unless it's very important to me, which this is not, to do that. And in fact, that even though I like my creative aspect, and I do think there are some songs in my soundtrack or music across my entire life that are listenable to even actually pretty decent, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely not the best. And I'm not gonna lie, that video might be a little bit too cringe for me to upload, and I might pull back on that shit instantly. But if y'all want, I will be willing to react and explain and or show a greater side to my music, basically like document my music. But that's if y'all want. I'm not going to do that unless you guys really want me to. It is what it is, though. Top 10 rappers Eminem was too afraid to diss. This is crazy. This being said. Man doesn't even know it's a beat. Oh, well, Eminem has been quiet since his drop. Praise be, nerd. Malekith, is that what I meant? But I meant nerf him, obviously. But yeah, that's just funny. And pause. And now with Waifu of the Stars. Yummy, crazy statement. Why is the channel image a comic historian? This is a YouTuber with my whole replaying games on Xbox Series X, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance Part 7. He passed away, and I'm trying to honor / memorialize him. He was a profound content creator. When was this? Like 5 weeks ago, and his wife made a community post about it. It is a sad day. Yeah, but his legacy is still here. R.I.P. the comic historian for real though. He was a G, bro. Thor can be killed, Tarnish can't. End of story. Weak ass argument, to be honest. Not even an actual argument. You probably didn't watch the vid, so see how Thor would keep killing him. Is what I meant. Would kill him and or keep doing it, which is a reasonable point at the same time. But then he said I didn't house it on an argument. Explain there, but people don't read. Because just because he can't die doesn't mean Thor cannot beat him, or you are wrong because they showed how Thor can kill him. Example, hitting him in a time that he'd even, exist in before, depending how you perceive time in the creative cosmology of Elden Ring, which isn't too, you know, detailed. So I think it's very popular. You simply put Thor with hammer skills of Bob the Builder could wreck house on a Tarnish and keep slaying them back to back if he wanted to. He could evaporate him with just his greater case of might to be hack. He's just way too demonstrably stronger than a Tarnish. It's not even funny. Corresponded with the fact that Thor of God of War, with the case of Mjolnir, can hit so bombastically different that he could blame a nigga back in time before his own birth. So I believe in every sense of the way that he could entirely disperse, arguably battle for all different cases, conceptually outwop the Tarnish in almost every sense of the way. Because ain't nobody's even gave me a counter to that. How is the Tarnish beating that? Never going to hear an answer. I'm just saying, honestly. But it is what it is. And next person talking about the case of, we believe in Team Elden Ring, man said 9. I put hater, fire giant, irrelevant, but still. Then this being talking about if Melania was put on trial for her crimes of patience on the background fight though. It's facts. And then this guy saying it's not close. Virgil smokes the verse, which I disagree with, but I can see it because Virgil entirely chop sueying the big red Goliath himself. Bro, you got the TV going in the background or what? This man didn't put properly but again, with the White Surface Virgil's kind of close video, that's the music from editing, not ITV. I'm not that down bad that I play music through a TV, well. Plus, even if I would be playing music in the background, do you think it'd be my phone, computer, or speaker? Why would I play music through a TV? What type of shit is the nigga weird? It is what it is. I mean, I just think that's funny, but it is what it is. But then this guy's made a joke about the pixels. Quote, where are the pixels, will you? Cool. Yes, please, about the artifact thing, which I deleted because I was not comfortable with him being seen, like, profile-wise in it still. At Tanker 3192, talking about underrated with my video, could the Saiyans conquer the lands between? Short answer, no. Especially with the Saiyans that I talked about in the video. That gameplay volume too loud, which is a reasonable point, right? But this entire comment I disagree with in this sense because a lot of, the argumentation for it and not understanding Thor as a character. I feel like you can read this, you can read the other things with all this being said that goes for this. I've already read these cons before, so you can pause and greater read about it. But it's being just because I feel like this is misunderstanding what I was saying, right? I was saying like in greater and large aspect, not the over and greater point that could be, right? But still. It's kind of simple as that. Recent, that might be some great essence. And these guys put L take August solos, which I disagree with. With regurgitating some, I guess, sense of knowledge to be sick. So I don't even know if that's the right creative, word, but simply put, with reconsidering, rewatching, and greater emphasis, pour off knowledge to be had in some parts of Asura from the taking just the game, greater reading that I have not done, and also sick of, mixed perception of the, inspiration in comparison to Hinduism, Buddhism, you know what I'm saying? Aspects of the entire thing, cause sorry for the honest, like a nigga can't, problem precisely, concrete, concise, could figure a point on this shit, right? Like, I'm not trying to have this be elongated, but basically what I'm trying to say, and it best suffice to say, slight point to be provided, is that even if you want to talk about the greater expanse of lore to be researched, to be taken into consideration with the inspiration of Buddhism, Hinduism, in the voodooism like aspects of life within Nirvana and all these different things that come with characters and reincarnation, things so that reincarnated, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. The greater possible layers of things with August is either not consistent, not concrete, and to just best coherent, precisely put into perspective is that even if I've taken in greater layer of understanding with August, with the fact that even though August is not at all on the same level of AP side durability, he could even fucking land a dent on Malekith. He can be argued to be faster. It doesn't disperse the fact that Malekith is way beyond his comprehension. Plus, he has Destined Death, which even though it might not be in the same grace of hailed that I thought it to be before, does not disperse / devalue the pure fact that it's on a whole different fathom of destruction to one's soul and being. Pretty much, it still has the same grace of section of all possible below possibilities. It might not work in the same aspect of HF Blade to a mixed extent, but the shit still gives the same grace of being top of the chain of evisceration of a nigga in ways not even to be comprehended until then. It still gives the same layer of conceptual ratio. Spiritually is built different, potent, and all that case of shit, and just no repetition. It's on a whole different grace in the matter of actually crack fiend curls of power, where if Malekith pretty much just has the whiff of the blade be smelt by August, that nigga probably getting sent straight to Naraka, getting instantly devoured by just the core beast presence in it. And Malekith is a whole hound of death. So, jokes aside or not, no, he's not winning that. And then it goes this kind. Even though Malekith can one-shot August by channeling the Death Rune, Asura and August have the light speed feats as well as planetary feats. Malekith is not the same, so I'm not even going to be able to touch him to begin with. He's too fast. What that means that August cannot hit him and actually do anything. So it would just be a simple cat and mouse, and or simply put, just that iconic thing of, a fly is stronger than you, but if the fly tries hitting you and you just have decent reaction time, and it's also the fact that Malekith is a very powerful hack to spore of power to be laid off, that he simply will hit him. So by this argument, August can be as fast as he wants, but he can never actually hurt him. So that right there would just simply put him out of commission right then and there. Like, again, I obviously disagree with that. They have easily credible equal speed. I would even argue that Malekith has a great sense of being higher than him, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely think there's arguments for him to be relative. I would have to look at the Kissigreater scaling for August. I definitely know Malekith reasonably should be higher greater stand to a lot of different reclaim and acclaim, faster than light people on a multi-different regard, because obviously scaling over every demigod in all forms, even if you want to argue there being two demigods that might be able to stand equal or mix, pit for pit against them, regardless of his beast clergyman, or the case of Malekith, the Black Blade himself, right? But again, that right there would just simply, destroy every aspect of point, because August, let's give him his flowers, is hypothetically way more faster than him. He will never be able to hurt him. He won't even be able to slice him. He's beyond his comprehension. That nigga is cheeks in comparison. So that's just the way it is. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. That's the way that it's shown to be. He's just like deliberately beyond his comprehension in this case. So yeah, simple as that. Did you actually watch the vid? No offense, but that's not true. It's a real case of point. What's the name of the intro song? Great video, by the way. Vibe was the main. Okay, no, man. Because it's a main is AIN. Man who came closest to becoming a little word in the canon. Samurai by RZA, and thank you. Within this comment saying, the Tarnish beats all those bosses in God's Code. It's a video game. You have to kill them. The Tarnish dies and loses a ton. And obviously, iconically put, yes, same applies to dying. And that's true. But the thing is like, that's a more arguable argument verbatim to say that that's provided by mixed things, but it's also not actually any solid, citable sensibility. The Tarnish kind of just does it because you can. I'm not saying there's in form of like explanation or consideration for how the Tarnish is just cracked, but the lanes that nigga be driving in to be as absurd would never really, I feel like, just comparatively constitute reasonable reality to best. He just does it because the Tarnish is built like that. If anything, he's faded in or has the plot armor and simple way of living to do it. And you can say that for a lot of different Souls protagonists, but at least with them, there's more actual sensible confines and reality for how they can beat these people. It's not too out of their lane. The Tarnish being demigods, being beings beyond fucking time and cracking the code for how to be the guy who told you not to worry about. I mean, let me solo her is really not that much of a meme when you really actually take 2 seconds to reconfigure some brain cells. And even like my comparison with Malik, if you think like he's beyond a great run of different niggas, beyond a great courtyard of like niggas in the Elden Ring pantheon, reasonably so by sense of, his narrative hell statements, account of the fact that this nigga is one of the most OP absolute demons of the lands between, does not disvalue, the pure fact that comparison-wise to some people, they would best him by reasonable regard of being a higher stake than that, being on a whole different comprehension or grandstand in, the plot. And I don't want to be, repetitive here. I want to be this repetition and recycle the same point. But his sore, aspect to his character that would downform him from even being on the same comprehension, right? He simply put, he has no reasonable sense of matter of, credibility or compound with any foul, deed that the demigods have done, or this form of this capability to fling this nigga into play of a whole different aspect of abstract comprehension. Because, like, Lord Tarnish should simply fucking butterfly and hit like a fucking crucible sword out of fucking God of War activity. Should just Blade of Olympus slit through every nigga's fucking existence. But in case of gameplay, it's a different diameter. But again, it doesn't really change anything. With that being said, and then next person, gotta say, oh, watch this if your mic wasn't so bad. Sorry, man. I don't even see that, to be fair. I just like to kind of just say, I understand you fully, bro, but I'll sympathize with the video author because we all gotta start from somewhere. Your mom's mic is worse. I know I don't listen to her either. Based tweet response, well, statement, facts, they put me off, but I give everybody a chance. I remember some of my favorites starting out. I don't really see that either way, though. Like, I'm not gonna act like I have the most perfect mic on a multi-case regard, but I think I sound pretty audible for the most part. But I think that being said, I think it's just more closeness, because I'm not always at its own thinking of like every way this close from Mike, where like y'all can hear dang near every breath, every tiss, every sigh, every mixed possible sense of like stutter, something akin to that. Like y'all hearing the whole like box worth of my tone and my being to a mixed credible point. But in other cases of recording, I'm not recording every sense close to my mic. You know what I'm saying? Not like I'm recording super far away, but it will be at a desk stand, and I'll be decent sense of like laying away to give credit, actual audio, audibleness, and just credit, tone, give my point, all that shit. Cause I don't need to be that deep hard on a case of the mic like I'm on a podcast. Sense, man, I feel like it's a decent level of sense of like clear, and it's because I have a deeper case setup that has a restriction of this and this and this for why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's getting a sense, but still, I respect everyone's opinion, but I really don't understand how my mic is bad for y'all. Yeah, moving on. Hey man, we can't hear you over the game audio. At one point, I don't know if it was that loud, and it sounds alright to me, but I can see if I can change it. Which I'm not gonna lie, the RP background case shit with credit to the store definitely was OD loud, but I saw it was very cool in the mixer and shit. I definitely could see why, it was a little OD loud. I didn't really check on that. It's kind of put whatever background recording and, let that shit play for what it is. But still, I also believe Thor will win, but I feel like I told them software fans really hype up Tarnish, overrated at this point. But I think it's like half true. Really depends on what we're talking about. But there's another comment that I disagree with that involves this guy that was kind of coming in here like a twat, no offense. And, I feel like I definitely debunked and entirely went about dissecting it in a very considerate, cohesive, and concrete, formal way that would destroy that point, you know what I'm saying? Right? But then you another person talking about similar thing. I think it's harsh poses a problem with the ability to come back over and over again on the side of grace. But the God of Thunder is still taking W. God of War Thor single-handedly brought the giants close to extinction, hit a world of circling serpents so hard to win like in time and went toe-to-toe with Kratos himself. I think Thor alone could solo the whole roster of Elden Ring, which, I agree with as well, what is being said. But still, at first, the custom would be weird in the case why your Titans hit a world circling service so hard it was sent back in time. Which makes sense, not like it's wrong, it's obviously no piece of people. Makes how I feel about it shit. Why me first America's plus one isn't close. Great statement. Why me first Malik if an August isn't close. Great video, dude. Why bro doesn't have a relic? I'm asking about it. Man's show that the video. Not sure where the kids came up my feed, but the voice lines, voice over kills it completely. In case for a different statement for why. It's not like it doesn't make any sense because obviously that's what it is, right? But still, see the time history for it. But regardless, going forward though, because I understand why it'd be the case. I didn't expect that much people to even watch this shit, to be honest. Is this a fever dream or is this real life? I can't quite tell anymore. The fuck is going on? Did you voice for Kratos? Yes. W. Lands between your chocolate down. Sorry, I didn't get it right like a From Software player, but did you actually watch the vid? You name what? It's the first time that a man was so weird big talking about Elden Ring, so a man really thought it was realms between, not lands between. But still, because realms between seems more accurate because of how large the world is and all different parts of the world seem like different realms of reality. But it's not bad. If you think about it, a Yodin is kind of like a fire giant. It's actually a good point. Wonder what kind of implications that could have. No, why are you agreeing with this clown? Well, good. Oh, well, I'm deleting your comment. Oh, the king has returned. W Riz, I'm about to watch the whole thing. Yo, this Raging King 2776, the volume for the new For Honor video you're editing. If you ever want to do this again, I'm up for it. Well, I ran out of ideas. Good glasses. Use them. There's a bunch of this past comments and shit, which is kind of interesting. But that's actually all the comments of my channel, for the entire timeline of my entire, YouTube channel. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, I'm hoping for diehard fans this was good. I know this kind of long, whatever makes sense of, yap case video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. Again, if you disagree with anything that I said, RP King 324 Discord is the best place to go and see. Hope you guys will enjoy more of the Godsking content to be had. Comment about anything that's heard about here, where the case may be. I love y'all. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, mommy. Love y'all.